When you think of the American landscape, your mind might naturally drift toward deep alpine forests, cascading waterfalls, or rugged coastal cliffs. But there is a corner of the American Southwest that defies everything you think you know about geography. A place where the earth rises up in waves of fiery orange, deep crimson, and stark white sandstone. This is the state of Utah, home to five of the most geologically diverse and visually arresting national parks on the planet. Together, they are known as the Mighty Five. But to call them parks doesn't quite do them justice. These are ancient, prehistoric seafloors and wind-blown deserts that have been violently uplifted, cracked open, and meticulously sculpted by water and time over hundreds of millions of years. When you step across their borders, the familiar textures of Earth seem to vanish entirely, replaced by landscapes that look like they were pulled directly from a science fiction movie. Today, we are exploring the deep gorges, towering arches, and alien spires of Utah to uncover the most surreal national parks in the USA. Park 1. Zion National Park. Our journey begins in the southwest corner of the state, at a place named by early pioneers who believed they had stumbled upon a literal sanctuary. This is Zion National Park. Unlike many canyons where you stand on the rim and look down, at Zion, you stand on the canyon floor and look up. Towering over 2,000 feet above you are massive sheer monoliths of Navajo sandstone, displaying a stunning gradient of cream, pink, and blood-red rock. The scale is completely disorienting. It makes you feel instantly microscopic. But what makes Zion truly feel unreal is a legendary hike known simply as the Narrows. This is where the massive canyon begins to tighten like a vice. As you hike up the Virgin River, the banks vanish entirely, forcing you to wade directly through cold, rushing water. Eventually, the canyon walls compress until they are just 20 feet apart, reaching 1,000 feet straight into the sky above you. As the midday sun hits the upper rim, the light bounces down into the canyon, reflecting off the water and causing the vertical stone walls to literally glow with an ethereal, pulsing orange and golden light. Walking through this dark, watery labyrinth, surrounded by weeping stone walls covered in hanging gardens, feels like wandering through the subterranean temple of an ancient world. Park 2. Bryce Canyon National Park, leaving the riverbed of Zion behind. We travel higher into the plateau country, to a place that completely redefines what a mountain can look like. Welcome to Bryce Canyon National Park. Despite the name, Bryce isn't actually a canyon at all. It's a series of massive horseshoe-shaped natural amphitheaters carved into the eastern edge of the Pont-Saugunt Plateau. And what fills these amphitheaters is the largest collection of hoodoos found anywhere on Earth. Hoodoos are tall, thin spires of rock that protrude from the bottom of an arid drainage basin. Centuries of frost wedging and acidic rain have dissolved the soft limestone into a dense, chaotic forest of thousands of orange, red, and white stone pillars. According to the indigenous Paiute people, these spires were the legend people whom the trickster Coyote turned to stone for their misdeeds. Standing at the rim at sunrise or sunset, the view is completely dizzying. It looks like a massive, frozen terracotta army or a Gothic cathedral built entirely out of melting wax. When you descend into the amphitheater along trails like the Queen's Garden or Wall Street, you are swallowed by narrow, vertical corridors of striped stone where the sky is reduced to a thin sliver of blue. It is an intricate alien labyrinth that feels entirely separate from reality. Park 3. Arches National Park. We head east into the heart of the Colorado Plateau to enter a landscape that looks like a playground for an elemental sculptor. This is Arches National Park. Containing over 2,000 documented natural stone arches, this park features the highest density of these geological wonders in the world. For millions of years, an underground salt bed shifted beneath the surface, cracking the sandstone above into vertical fins. Rain, ice, and wind then went to work, eroding the centers of these fins to leave behind giant freestanding loops of rock. The most iconic of them all is Delicate Arch. To reach it, you must hike up a massive, exposed slope of bare slick rock. When you round the final bend, the landscape suddenly opens up into a giant sandstone bowl, and perched precariously right on the rim is a 60-foot-tall arch, standing completely alone against the horizon. What makes arches feel so surreal is the sense of impossible balance. You see massive boulders weighing hundreds of tons balanced perfectly on thin rock pedestals. You see spans of stone stretching over 300 feet across, thin as a ribbon, holding up the sky. It feels like a landscape frozen in mid-collapse, a testament to the incredible artistic patience of deep time. Park 4. Canyonlands National Park, just a short drive from the Arches, lies Utah's largest and most rugged national park, a place of raw, untamed vastness that feels like looking at the skeletal framework of the continent itself. This is Canyonlands National Park. Split into 4 distinct districts by the Green and Colorado rivers, this park is a colossal wilderness of canyons, mesas, and towering rock pinnacles. The most accessible yet jaw-dropping region is known as Island in the Sky, a massive, flat-topped mesa that sits on sheer cliffs over 1,000 feet above the surrounding terrain. Standing at the grand viewpoints, you aren't just looking at a canyon, you are looking at a canyon inside another canyon. The ground below drops away into a vast, white-rimmed plateau that has been gouged out into an endless network of deep fissures, looking like giant, prehistoric footprints stamped into the desert. The crown jewel of this surreal landscape is Mesa Arch. Perched right on the absolute edge of a 1,200-foot cliff, this low-slung arch acts as a natural frame for the canyon system below. At dawn, photographers gather in absolute silence as the rising sun catches the underside of the arch, turning the rock into a blazing, brilliant neon orange ring of fire that illuminates the immense abyss stretching out to the horizon. Park 5. Capitol Reef National Park, our final stop, brings us to the least visited and most mysterious member of the Mighty Five, Capitol Reef National Park. Tucked away in south-central Utah, Capitol Reef is a literal wrinkle on the surface of the Earth. Geologists call it the water pocket fold, a massive 100-mile-long warp in the Earth's crust that was pushed up nearly 70 million years ago. It created a jagged barrier of rock that looks like a massive coral reef, which is exactly where the park gets its name. Walking through Capitol Reef feels like stepping into a geologic vault. On one side, you have massive rounded domes of white Navajo sandstone that resemble the U.S. Capitol building. On the other side, you have sheer, deep red cliffs covered in ancient petroglyphs carved by the Fremont culture over 1,000 years ago. The park is sliced open by deep, narrow slot canyons like Cathedral Valley and Capitol Gorge. As you walk between these towering walls, you can see the intricate layers of geological history stacked on top of one another like pages in a textbook. Because it is highly isolated, Capitol Reef retains a raw, wild energy. It is a place of immense solitude where the bizarre rock formations, hidden arches, and ancient history combine to create a landscape that feels completely removed from modern civilization. What makes Utah's national parks truly feel unreal isn't just the vibrant red dirt or the strange rock shapes. It's the realization that these landscapes are alive. They are actively being shaped by the exact same forces of wind, water, and time that created them millions of years ago. To stand inside them is to realize just how brief our time on this planet really is. In a single road trip across this state, you can traverse ancient ocean floors, hike through glowing river gorges, and lose yourself in a forest of stone spires. But these landscapes are as fragile as they are ancient. When we visit them, it's up to us to tread lightly, leave no trace, and ensure their wild mystery remains untouched for generations to come. I want to hear from you. Which of these 5 national parks looked the most surreal to you? Are you a fan of the towering walls of Zion? Or do the endless hoodoos of Bryce Canyon take the top spot on your bucket list? Let me know down in the comments below. If you loved this cinematic journey through the American Southwest, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell so you never miss our next adventure. Until next time, keep exploring, and I'll see you on the trail.